Right, well, we've all been through COVID and many months and perhaps years of isolation. This came out of COVID, and also very preoccupied by, as an environmentalist, I believe, we have to stop fossil fuel. So this is an allusion to possibly some of the results of burning too much fossil fuel. And all right, I use the saw a lot because that to me is one of the worst sounds in the world. I think is a chainsaw. I hate it. So the saw refers to deforestation. Here you get a very indistinct picture of trees being felled, gigantic trees being felled, perhaps in North America. People proud of it. There we have allusions to the banking financial creep, which I think is quite responsible for a lot of harm we do. A picture of the globe, our fallen globe, which is then reflected there with, it's absolutely devastated and smothered by smoke and carbon dioxide and you name it. This is another allusion to Bushman painting. There again, printing. Maybe blah, blah, blah. We talk too much. We don't do enough. And the world goes on, spinning. And the forest gets sawn down. And here we go, into the next century. And words, blah, blah, hello. What are you doing here? Okay, that's it. Yeah, well, in my early work, I actually did political satires and got into trouble with the apartheid regime. I don't, unfortunately, have many drawings at the moment, but let's say, at least in this particular work, you can see some examples. And as a work, I guess it refers to time passing, the Aztec thing, fire, books, culture, scene. That's, I think there's a whole cluster of images which kind of resonate, and that's probably what my work does, because it's more alluding to things than explaining or emoting. So I hope you can move on. You see, fire is quite predominant in our culture, and it's also quite a revolutionary precept, I think. Don't know what the hell I mean by that, but anyway. Okay. So there we go. That's maybe passing of time, culture, what the books allude to. It could be anything from the Bible to the Quran to James Joyce to anything you wish to project into it. In my sort of satirical work, I try and incorporate some of the issues that we in our contemporary life face. And you can see maybe there's allusion to Chernobyl. There's a couple of nuns looking at a couple kissing, so that's like hypocrisy and religion, perhaps. Fire. This is quite interesting because this is alludes to what the Bushmen thought was the ostrich dance. And obviously we in this country, we go back to the Stone Age and we still have living examples of some very interesting tribes. And here, it's one of my pet peeves is perhaps overpopulation. If we're going to solve the world's problems, we have to deal with that in 20 years' time. And Chernobyl again, what's left, or what was left 20, 30 years ago. These refer to a graphic I did where another one of my preoccupations is sea life and rock pools, and again, we allude to nature. And anyway, hopefully that some of these things, when you digest them, kind of resonate with one in some meaningful way. One can only hope that the work doesn't appear to be that sellable or commercial, but so be it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, this is a fairly telling picture. Long before COVID, we had various pandemics, and this is possibly also an allusion to air pollution in China, where people were walking around with masks. Okay, this is the world we live in now, and that was after 9/11. I have allusions to terrorism and some quite nasty stuff, which I was a bit shocked with at that point. The toilet seat was perhaps an image like, wow, we talk too much and it's all crap. So what do we do? Actually, in real terms. And there we have this actually is perhaps a replica of the first fossil discovered that had feathers in it. So again, one of my interests is biology and the history of life. This is perhaps a kind of engraving which goes back to cave painting. These two quirky characters, I don't know, a bit of E.T., bit of fun perhaps. These are rather obscure at the moment. They're just figures. There again, I allude to international banking, which I'm quite suspicious of and very critical. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all the allusions that we have in this painting. And there's somebody, I think, who's fine-tuning his bicycle. I love bicycles. I think we should all have bicycles. Yeah, we could all have more bicycles and more self-propelled things rather than rockets and bombs and all the stuff that we put there. Again, as an insect, I think insects are fantastic creatures. They're so beautiful. They're so magnificently evolved to do what they do. Yeah, I'd like to believe that I actually do have a sense of humor, which is not very explicit in these collages of mine, but in my drawings, definitely, which I haven't got at the moment. But like, yes, oh, William Shakespeare in a sardine can mounted on a electronic background. Here is perhaps a cyborg or some creature looking into the future that we are so wired and Wi-Fi'd up and everything. Here we have Einstein, I guess connected to God knows what, a black hole, perhaps. I don't know. Is that a black hole, perhaps? And here we have keys. I guess keys is quite symbolical of opening up mysteries and discovery. Yeah, here we again have a AI cyborg, which possibly looks a bit like a mermaid, I think. I don't know. Here we have the reference to fire. Obviously, we live in a computer age, so therefore these references are pretty obvious. Who's that? Well, there's Leonardo's Mona Lisa. Again, she's framed in an electronic circuit board.